Hi guys, Dr. Amy Killen here, and I'm here to answer the question, what is a bioidentical hormone? And why is calling it natural hormone therapy a little bit of a misnomer and potentially kind of dangerous? So let's dive right in. So you've heard the term bioidentical hormone therapy, I'm sure, right? What does that mean? That means that whatever hormone therapy I'm using, whatever things are being given to me by my doctor, the structure, the chemical structure of those ingredients match exactly the chemical structure of the hormones that were already in my body at some point in the past, or they currently still are. So for example, my body makes estrogen. And so does yours, by the way. So my body makes estrogen in the form of estradiol. It makes a lot of estrogens, but estradiol is the most important one that we talk about when we talk about replacing hormones. So we make estradiol, and estradiol fits perfectly in this receptor that I have in my body, in these receptors. So it goes in, and then all of this magic happens once the estradiol hits the receptor, and you get all kinds of wonderful things that are happening in your brain, in your blood vessels, in your vagina, in your skin, and all of those things. This is estradiol. Well, as you get older, we stop making less estradiol, especially after menopause. So what are the options? So one option is we can get the same estradiol from somewhere else. We can get the same chemical structure, the exact same chemical, from other places. This is considered to be bioidentical. It's identical to the estrogen that was already in my body before. Okay, that makes sense. It fits the receptor, it's all good. Another option is you can get a non-bioidentical estrogen. Now there are a whole bunch of different estrogens out there that are not estradiol. And this can be things like conjugated equine estrogens, which are going to come from horse urine, and that's what we use to make Premarin, not me, but other people. It can still fit the receptors, the estrogen receptors, but maybe not perfectly, and maybe there's some more side effects, and maybe there's some more inflammation or some more risk because it's not actually the same as estradiol. It's an estrogen, but it could be one of many types of estrogens, and the chemical structure is not the same as estradiol. Okay, so that's bioidentical. And of course, we have bioidentical progesterones, and we have also progestins, which are not bioidentical, and they're the ones actually that are pretty dangerous that you really want to watch out for. The progestins are not the best. But anyway, so here's another question. Let's say we have this estradiol. And let's say it's coming from wild yams, which is one of the sources of estradiol. So wild yams, I have an imaginary wild yam. Wild yam gets picked from the ground and taken to a laboratory. And then there are a series of lab experiments, kind of lab reactions that have to take place to turn this wild yam into estradiol. Okay, so yes, you're using wild yams or you're using soybeans, but you have to go through a laboratory to modify that chemically in order to make estradiol or in order to make progesterone. So is this estradiol still natural if it had to go through all of that sort of processing in the laboratory? Maybe, but does it actually matter? If I made this estradiol completely in a laboratory, if I didn't have wild yams at all, if I just had test tubes and liquids and like Bunsen burners, is this estradiol worse than this estradiol, which came from wild yams? No, because if they're both estradiol, they're both the exact same chemical structure as the estradiol inside my body that I was making or I am making, and therefore they both fit that receptor perfectly and will cause the same reactions. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, to kind of seal this into your brain, here's a fun, weird analogy. Let's say that you have identical twin daughters. And by the way, I actually do have identical twin daughters. So anyway, but the twins in my story are identical in every way. Their DNA is the same. They have the same proteins, the same microbiome. They look the same. They act the same. They have the same interests. Like they are exactly the same. But one twin, this one, was made the old-fashioned way. This one was made through normal sexual activity and grown in the belly, and there was a whole thing, and it's the natural twin, obviously. This twin was made by in vitro fertilization. It's a test tube baby. It was used, a lab was used, and doctors were used, and science was used to make this one. But it came out the exact same she came out the exact same as her sister. They're the same in every way. Is one of these twins better than the other one? Is one of them more likely to fit your family better? Is one of them more likely to fit your body better, your lifestyle better, your home better? Do we like one of these twins better? hopefully no is the answer. It's the exact same way with estradiol. It's the exact same way with progesterone. It's the exact same way with all of these hormones. It doesn't actually matter where they come from. And you could use the word natural or not, but I think you probably shouldn't. But what really matters is what the chemical structure is in the end and whether that's going to match the chemical structure of the hormones in your body. That's what bioidentical means. That's all it means. It doesn't mean it's a natural source. It means it works in a natural way in your body, which I think is where the confusion comes from. I don't use the word natural at all. I just use the word bioidentical or occasionally body identical to talk about these hormones. They are definitely the way to go if you're doing hormone replacement therapy, if you ask me. And we'll talk more about why in other episodes. Thank you.